2026. New week, new discoveries. Let's see what's happening. A faint crescent moon is sliding past Venus tonight, offering a rare chance to watch two worlds share the same patch of sky. The slender crescent moon stands just over 2 days old and will appear close to Venus this evening. Observers can catch the pairing low in the west after sunset as the moon's lit sliver grows night by night. While ground observers enjoy this quiet celestial moment, crews on the station are catching far more dramatic views of our own atmosphere. An astronaut aboard the International Space Station captured a sudden shower of bright streaks while gazing through the cupola's windows. The image shows objects streaking across the darkness of Earth's night side, likely meteors or small pieces of debris heating up as they encounter the thin upper atmosphere. Such views from orbit give scientists a unique vantage point above the weather and city lights that often obscure ground observations. From one privileged view of Earth, we turn to the people who earned their place in the history books. Tom Akers and Joe Tanner were inducted at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex for their contributions to shuttle missions and spacewalks. The ceremony recognizes decades of service that advanced NASA's human spaceflight program. The same spirit of pushing boundaries now shows up in new commercial alliances racing to match Starlink. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile have joined forces for the first time to develop direct-to-device satellite service. The move responds to Starlink's expanding coverage that threatens traditional ground networks. While established players consolidate, a Chinese startup is taking its own first step toward orbit. The company raised 180 million yuan to complete development of its Zhihang-1 kerosene liquid oxygen rocket. A debut launch attempt is now planned for June from a site in China. New rockets keep coming because decades of space work keep feeding practical advances back on Earth. Decades of work on propulsion, materials, and life support have produced spin-offs now used in medicine, transportation, and consumer electronics. The article traces how solving extreme environment challenges on orbit leads to practical innovations on Earth. One of the most visible symbols of that engineering legacy was the simple way NASA moved its shuttles across the country. NASA used a specially adapted Boeing 747 to ferry orbiters between landing sites and launch pads. The arrangement let the shuttle glide home to Florida or California without burning its own engines for cross-country trips. Space keeps offering new angles on familiar hardware and fresh views of our own planet. Now, here's something that blew my mind when I looked into it. If the sun were scaled to the size of a basketball sitting in downtown Toronto, the sphere of our strongest radio broadcasts would already stretch past the nearest star and keep expanding at the speed of light every second. Picture riding alongside one of those early television signals as it leaves the ionosphere. Once free of Earth's protective layers, it travels in a straight line forever, growing fainter with distance yet never truly disappearing. By the time a 1980s-era broadcast reaches a star 50 light-years away, it has spread into a shell so vast that detecting it requires an antenna hundreds of kilometers across. Signals from the 1930s now form an outer shell roughly 240 light-years in diameter. We can map exactly which nearby stars have already received our earliest transmissions, and which ones will not hear us for centuries yet. The lingering puzzle is whether any receiver out there could ever distinguish our faint whispers from the natural radio noise of the galaxy itself. Keep an eye on developments with commercial satellite networks as more alliances and new launch attempts take shape. That's Fascinating Frontiers for today. If you enjoyed this, a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps new listeners find the show. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for exploring with me, and I'll see you next time. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.
Drifting softly through